This is one of the biggest weekends of the year for the Miami Valley. This year, the Vectren Dayton Air Show is going to be huge with the return of the Navy's Blue Angels. And the next 2 hours, we've got you covered. We're live right now as the setup for the show continues. We're going to look back at the tragedy of last year's deadly crash, the new safety measures put in place, and the big impact the Blue Angels will have. So for now, we're going to toss it out to the tarmac where Mike and Megan are standing by live. Good morning to you both.
Hey, Jackie. Good morning from Dayton International Airport. We are excited to bring you special coverage this morning, a preview of the Vectren Dayton Air Show. I'm Mike Kohlmeyer.
And I'm Megan Mongello. Wow, what a morning it's going to be. A jam-packed 2 hours here on Fox 45, and we have so much coming up. The Blue Angels, that is the headliner everyone is talking about. Their arrival in town, and as you can see behind us, their planes are ready to go.
Yeah, just a few little planes back there, 6 of them actually. We interviewed the pilot of number 5 back there, Lieutenant Commander Dave Tickle. We'll hear from him later. Rhonda Moore has all kinds of things for us, including interviews with some of the other pilots. The big fat Albert plane is here. We're going to tell you all about safety, getting here, and everything that's here once you're here.
Yeah, and we have a lot coming out in 2 hours, but we want to begin with actually a look back at some of the accidents that unfortunately have happened at the air show. It is an extremely safe event, and these accidents are rare, but as you know, they do happen twice actually in the past 7 years.
Oh, God!
You can hear the shock as the audience at last year's Vectren Dayton Air Show watched a stunt go terribly wrong. Veteran wingwalker Jane Wicker and pilot Charlie Schwenker died in the crash. Federal safety investigators haven't released a final report into what caused it. Longtime air show announcer Rob Ryder says the stunt pilots and performers know the risks.
We do our best to mitigate those risks in any way we can. Sometimes it just can't. Sometimes the things line up and you just can't mitigate the risks, and events do occur. It's a sad thing. We try to continue to be professional in the midst of those events when they occur, and but it doesn't keep us from having the sadness.
The Dayton Air Show had to deal with another fatal crash back in 2007. Stunt pilot Jim Leroy slammed his plane into the ground. Our camera caught the smoke of his tragic ending. Each year, officials review the safety plan and procedures to make sure emergency responders know exactly what to do.
It's a very thorough procedure. It's very exacting. The Federal Aviation Administration has very high standards, and of course the airport here does.
And I'm joined now live by Roger Doctor. He is the Public Safety Director here for the Dayton Air Show. Good morning.
Good morning.
And what a beautiful morning we're having so far. It's kind of hard to transition into safety, but that's something that you guys continually look at and on a daily basis kind of practice for as you get prepared for the air show.
We actually will have our first safety meetings about 2 weeks after this air show ends for next year.
Wow.
So we have it's a full year planning process.
And because of what has happened in the past, have you guys changed anything? I know there was some talk of adding a 3rd emergency response vehicle.
Even though the airport fire department was able to respond in less than 1 minute to the scene last year, in talking with the performers, we look at this airport, it's huge. Mm-hmm. The airport trucks are actually very fast. They can make it, but the grass and what have you is rough. So talking with some of the performers, they asked, hey, what about an immediate response vehicle, like an ATV, something that can get through this stuff real quick? We're going to load it up with some medical stuff, with a large fire extinguisher, things like that. So we would have a very, very quick response to something that would be more remote than what would happen right along the show line.
And we talked about how rare accidents are, but I think probably what is more common out here is maybe some heat-related illnesses, something happening with the entire crowds you guys have, because it is jam-packed for folks, spectators just watching the show. How do you prepare for if someone here, something happens to them?
Oh, we're very blessed because we have multiple health networks here. We work with Good Sam, we work with Kettering, we work with Premier Healthcare. They all have people here. All the fire departments in the area send volunteers. Any given day, we'll have 75 medical people on staff. And that includes 7 medical doctors, 5 registered nurses. We have an advanced life support medic here, as well as Premier sending us care flights, so that if we have to, something that has someone had to go like a lickety split,
right,
we have a helicopter here ready to be able to take them out. And then the planning goes on with how we continue to shift medics in throughout the day. I hate to say it, but if you were ever going to get hurt, this is a place to do it. You get better and faster medical care here than you could in any emergency room.
Well, thank you so much for reassuring everyone out there. It's going to be a great event. Hopefully you come on out. Thanks so much for joining us, Roger.
Thank you. I'm glad to have you here.
Yes, we are happy to be here, and we want to remind you, when you do come out, there are definite things that you need to bring with you. We have a list that we're going to put up there of the things that you can't bring, because of course you want to come out and have fun, but when you come, you're not allowed to bring a cooler, no loose ice, no cans or glass. You also can't bring any alcohol along.
Also, Megan, leave your pets at home as well. You won't be able to bring a tent or awning, so make sure you've got your sunscreen as well. That is essential this weekend. You also cannot bring any cooking equipment either.
All right, here's the good stuff. What you can bring a small cooler for any life-saving medicine or formula bottles. You can also bring in chairs, blankets, or handheld umbrellas. And that is especially important, that handheld umbrella, because it's going to be hot. We're sitting on concrete, basically.
Yeah, very pleasant right now, but remember, it's just after 7 in the morning when it gets into the afternoon hours. Even when it's a pleasant 80 degrees out here, it's just a little bit warmer. The number one thing on that list, I think, is sunscreen.
Yes, for sure. And coming up in just a bit, we're going to have more from the medical staff here on site, and they'll talk about kind of some safety precautions they're taking in terms of keeping you healthy when you come out to the event.
Our special coverage is just getting started here at the Dayton International Airport. We're going to take you behind the scenes. Our reporter, Wale Aliu, rides along with stuntman Sean Tucker. This is good. I can still hear the screams from yesterday when Wale was up there doing flips in the air. You won't want to miss that. That is coming up.
And we're going to send it back into the studio for now. Jackie.
We want to check back in now with Mike and Megan. They're out live at the Dayton International Airport. By the way, we're live there all morning long as part of our special pre-show coverage. How's it going, guys?
It is going wonderful. Beautiful morning out here, Jackie. Just 6 of the most famous aircraft on Earth behind us. No big deal, though. The Blue Angels. We'll tell you about those guys in just a little bit. First, though, we want to talk about something that happened yesterday with one of the stunt pilots here.
Oh, yeah. What an experience. His name is Sean Tucker, and if you've ever seen him perform or seen one of the stories about him, it is pretty incredible, some of the stuff he does. Flips in the air, drops 4 Gs. He actually goes 10 Gs during the live air show. And if you're thinking to yourself, I'd like to hop on board, where there's a sophomore from Centerville High School who basically had the ride of her life, a story she'll be able to tell her friends back at school in the fall.
Her first ever flight. It wasn't like United flight to New York or something like that. It was with Sean Tucker, because this week she got the chance to sit in the cockpit with the legendary pilot Sean Tucker. That is Centerville High School sophomore Alberta Dempsey. She got the honor of going up with the air show legend Sean Tucker. Alberta got the chance after writing an essay about facing her fears. Her fears, one of them was flying, and she sure did face her fears, staying calm and cool with Tucker during the flight. So congratulations, Alberta. That's a nice way to overcome that. Sean was quite taken by that, too. He really enjoyed it.
He was, and our Wale Aliu also enjoyed his flight. Take a look at his experience.
That's just getting the guy warmed up for us. Oh my goodness!
Cousin, about at 7:45, we're going to show you the entire story, and basically Mike, Wale does scream a lot.
Yeah, the echo and the reverberations are in the atmosphere somewhere here. Wale, I can still hear those screams. That was awesome. Just strapping him in and watching him going for that ride.
That's right. In 30 minutes, you'll see that story.
And good morning from the Dayton International Airport, site of the Vectren Dayton Air Show, and our special coverage continues this morning. I'm Mike Kallmeyer.
And I'm Megan Mongello. It is quite the morning out here, and let me tell you, when you come out to this weekend's events, you'll be sure to see a ton of action. Gates open at 9 each morning, and then the big show is from about noon to 4 o'clock. And there are so many things to see, including, of course, the Blue Angels. Everyone's talking about the headliner that's back this year.
The Blue Angels right behind us. We'll tell you a little bit more about those guys in just a second. And I think that's Southwest flight taking off for Vegas right now behind us. You remember, this is the airport too, so there's flights going on behind us. Hey, talking about the weather though, beautiful here this morning, and we all remember the past 2 years, very hot. Mother Nature has not been too kind at all. It's been miserably hot, actually. This year, it's another scorcher, a little warm, but temperatures not quite what they've been in the past. And joining us now is Bill Magnus, for an EMT out here at the Dayton Air Show. Bill, thanks so much. You've been out here for a number of years, haven't you?
For a number of years, yes.
All right. We saw triple-digit temperatures just a couple years ago. It was a scorcher. The show was moved up a few weeks just for that reason, and those cooler temperatures, even if it's 10, 15, 20 degrees, helps a lot, doesn't it?
Absolutely. Even 10 degrees, and hopefully that lower humidity makes a big difference as well.
When you're out here, no matter what the temperature is, when you're out on this pavement and some of these wide open spaces, it just does get hotter, doesn't it?
It does get hotter. We've actually done temperature readings, and there's a big difference from the pavement to the grass. It's hot everywhere, but it's hottest on that pavement.
Well, as our previous guest said, if you're out here, you're safer than any place in the Miami Valley, really, because you guys have people covered. What do you do for people if they have heat exhaustion or some other symptoms?
When we have an emergency, we actually have fire and EMS providers here that first respond and check on the patient and then make arrangements to transport them by another fire crew. And we have hospital tents, 2 hospital tents on the grounds that are staffed by nurses, techs, clerks, and doctors that'll take care of them. And if they need transported to a hospital, then we may take care of that as well.
What are some of the signs that people should watch out for?
We hope then in advance that they think about their travels out here and they prepare well, that they wear light-colored, lightweight clothing, use a good sunblock, SPF 30 or greater, and drink before they get here and while they're here. If they start to feeling a little lightheaded or like they can't cool off, or they start getting confused and sick to their stomach, then we ask them to seek help. There's a lot of volunteers here for the air show wearing red shirts, and several fire and EMS crews as well that can direct them to help.
Bill, thanks so much. There are so many places to cool off out here. You guys have people covered. There's a kids zone too, a whole hangar that they can go in and cool off and do arts and crafts and grab a drink and things like that. So bring the family out. They got you covered no matter what the weather, but it's going to be cooler than in years past. That's the first bit of good news.
That.
Bill,
That's
thank
good.
You so much. Let's go back to you guys in the studio. And speaking of the weather, absolutely gorgeous out here this morning, guys.
Yeah, we're going to tell you about Wale's ride with Sean Tucker coming up in just a few. A wild, wild ride he had in the sky.
Wale's wild ride. Jackie went up in a plane last year. Chris jumped out of a plane last year. We love putting people in terrifying positions, don't we?
I just want to point out that Mike and myself will not go up in a plane. We are good with our feet on the ground right here bringing you the news. And of course, Wale is actually afraid of heights, so he was definitely nervous about this flight.
That's a good combination. Yeah, he's miles up in the air going at an incredible speeds. Here's how he handled it.
Yesterday you said you were afraid of heights.
Yes, I did tell you that, didn't I?
Yeah.
Maybe not the good thing to tell you, right?
Now you're going upside down with
Oh
it.
my Lord. Tell my mommy I love her.
As soon as we start moving, my nerves turn into excitement.
I think I can see my house from here. You can see many houses from here.
But Sean brings me back down to reality.
That's just getting the guy warmed up for it. Oh my goodness! You didn't even prepare me for that one. Oh, sometimes life's fun. Oh my.
Sean had plenty of tricks up his sleeve.
We're going straight up. You doing good with that? Yeah. Okay, what goes up must come down.
But I held my composure. Well, most of the time.
So this way, and then we go. Woo-hoo! Oh my gosh! Oh my goodness! Oh my goodness! Sean, you're crazy, man! My eyes are in the back of my head. Oh my God!
But the best part of flying over the Miami Valley was taking control of the joystick.
I've never flown a plane before. While you're doing it, I'm going to touch it. Turn around and look. Hilarious.
235 miles per hour. But what we did today won't compare to what you'll see this weekend.
I'm going to see 10 positive G's. I'm going to see 8 negative G's. My whole goal is to make an act that inspires the audience.
Wow, he is brave, and he had 5 G's in that plane, and when Sean Tucker does his stunts this weekend up in the air, he will hit 10 G's. That is incredible.
Unbelievable. Congrats to Wale. Those screams were real, and we took pure enjoyment in watching that, and much more coming up.
Yes, the Blue Angels. Also, Rhonda has an interview with a pilot from an aerobatics team. So we're just kind of pushing the envelope a little bit here on Fox 45.
There's also just a little plane here called Fat Albert. It's really not little, but Hillary's going to tell us all about that, all coming up in the next hour. We're having a blast out here.
Our live pre-show coverage of the Vectren Dayton Air Show continues right now. Now, coming up in the next hour, we're talking to the show's executive director. She's going to talk about the big boost the Blue Angels are expected to give to attendance this year. Plus, Rhonda Moore is going to be live with Wings of Blue. They're a skydiving team from the U.S. Air Force, and they're also returning to the show after being gone for 10 years. So certainly looking forward to that. Then he's the voice we all know, but you probably didn't know the show's announcer. Rob Reeder has an amazing man cave. We're going to show you his collection of memorabilia. So we're going to send it back out to the tarmac where Mike and Megan have been working hard all morning with big smiles on their faces. Good morning, guys.
Good morning. Working hard? Oh, okay, we'll take that. Good morning from the Dayton International Airport. I am Mike Kohlmeyer.
And I'm Megan Mongello. What a morning it is. We are on the cusp of the 40th annual Vectren Dayton Air Show. So it's a big event this weekend. Thousands of people come on out. Gates open at 9 a.m. each morning, and then the big show, all the acts from about noon to 4 o'clock, and it is a jam-packed schedule. Should you mention what's behind us? Look at those planes.
Just a few little airplanes called the Blue Angels, that's all. Yeah, for the air show, the sound of success is a jet engine, and the air show has the angels to thank, specifically the Blue Angels. When you guys show up, the crowds go up. You realize that.
Well, that's good to hear.
And good to have you here. Last year, military sequestration affected the party.
We didn't have a jet team. We didn't have any military presence. You know, it was a sad time for everybody.
Sequestration impacted a lot of folks. You know, it was an unfortunate circumstance that arose, but, you know, we're back.
The crowds are expected to be back, too. Last year, only 23,000 showed up. It's normally more than triple that. 2 years ago, triple-digit temperatures cut the attendance in half. This year,
we are thrilled. Everybody in Dayton is thrilled. The Blue Angels are a wonderful team. It's great to have them here. They put on a phenomenal show.
You're going to see these F-18s that you see over my shoulder here, one of the most capable aircraft that we have. And, you know, we'll max perform it. We'll be flying 18 inches from each other. We'll be all the way from -3 Gs to +7.5 Gs. You know, as slow as about 120 miles per hour to one of the passes about 700 miles per hour.
Pretty cool, but
probably the coolest thing about being back here is it's not 115 degrees like it was last time.
Even the pilots remember those hot temperatures just 2 years ago. Terry Grievous, executive director of the Vectren Dayton Air Show, joins us now. And thankfully, it's going to be about 90 degrees, but it's cooler than the triple-digit temperatures, Terry, 2 years ago.
Oh, yes. This weather is wonderful, and we're looking forward to a great weekend of not only a wonderful air show, but also weather.
That and all you guys have done to keep people cool will certainly draw the crowds out here. But let's be honest, nobody draws the crowds out here more than what you see behind us, the 6 Blue Angels.
We're so excited that the Blue Angels are back with us this year. I mean, they are one of the best teams in the world, and we're so fortunate to have them here in Dayton, Ohio.
How tough was that last year with the sequestration and not having them here? Must have been frustrating for you.
It was a rough year for us. You know, the military aircraft are very, very attractive to spectators, and so not having them really hurt us last year.
About $3.5 million brought into the Miami Valley economy from this air show. And, you know, a lot of people had to cancel their air shows because of the sequestration. And the Dayton Air Show went on, and you're expecting bigger and better things this year, better than ever, right?
Yes, we are. We were one of the fortunate ones last year that had an air show because we had the resources to do that. And so that's behind us now, and we're just looking forward to a wonderful year. We've got the lineup, we've got the Blues, but we've also got some other spectacular attractions, including the Harrier and Patty Wagstaff, Sean Tucker. So it should be a fun year for the spectators.
I know you guys are looking forward to getting back on track. The heat 2 years ago didn't help attendance. Neither did the Blue Angels not being here. But your typical attendance is just about 70,000, right?
Yes, for the weekend it's 70,000. And usually it turns out to be about 60% of our attendance comes on Saturdays, the bigger day, and then Sunday's about 40%.
Terry, thanks so much. Beautiful morning, by the way. Thanks for coming out with us. Appreciate it. Hey, aerobatics, they're in the show as well. Always a crowd pleaser at this air show. This year, no exception, with the Aeroshell team performing. That'll be exciting. Rhonda Moore is live here right now at the airport with one of those daring pilots. Rhonda?
Good morning. Yeah, you have to have some mad skills in order to fly this airplane here. And joining me now is Mark Henley, and he is one of the pilots with Aeroshell. All right, so tell me about your plane.
Well, it's a World War II advanced trainer. It's called a T6.
And it has 2 seats.
It has 2 seats. It was designed so you have an instructor in the back and a student in the front during World War II.
We got 4 planes out here you guys are going to be flying this weekend. So talk to me a little bit about what people will see from you guys. We have some video also from last year when one of our reporters flew with you.
Yeah, well, what we do, I mean, I guess to make it simple and to understand, is we do a very similar routine to that the Blue Angels do, but the difference is we're doing it in World War II propeller-driven airplanes instead of the jets that they do theirs in.
All right, so talk about some of the maneuvers you'll do.
Well, we do loops and barrel rolls, and we do a bomb burst, and we do some head-on maneuvers, you know, and we do a bunch of in-trail stuff, and it's a lot of people like our routine because we don't go near as fast as the jets. We can keep it in the confines of the airport, so we never, get out of sight. We're always right in front of the crowd the whole time.
And how long have you personally been doing this?
Well, I've been flying. I've owned this airplane since 1988, and I've been flying T6s since the early 80s, so I've been flying them for quite a while.
All right, well, we're looking forward to your show. Now, you can see the Aeroshell aerobatic team perform tomorrow and Sunday here at the Dayton Air Show, and the acts will perform between noon and 4:05 p.m. And coming up at 8:50, we're going to talk to a member of the Air Force jump team, and he actually comes from here in the Miami Valley. Back to you guys.
And we're live again at the Dayton International Airport. One of the largest airplanes at the Dayton Air Show this weekend is right behind me. Fat Albert. No disrespect, Albert, but that's your name. It is a big boy, and it is quite impressive.
Yeah, it's part of the Blue Angels. It actually flies with them to air shows. Hillary Zala takes us on a tour inside and tells us why this plane is so mind-blowing.
It's a bird. It's a plane. It's Fat Albert.
Hey, hey, hey! It's Fat Albert!
No, not that one. This one. It's the United States Marine Corps C-130, nicknamed appropriately for its size in the 1970s.
Right around the time that the cartoon was out, it just kind of became a thing, and it stuck for almost 40 years.
You'll see Fat Albert at the air show this weekend, in all its glory, flying with the Blue Angels.
Fat Albert is wonderful. It's a great attraction, and a lot of people are just amazed when they know that Fat Albert is a C-130 aircraft, and what that plane can do is just beyond belief of a lot of people.
It's 99 feet long, 38 feet tall, with a wingspan of 132 feet.
In fact, you can fit 2 FA-18 Hornets with the wings folded inside Fat Albert.
It's a Navy aircraft flown by 8 Marines. The Blue Angels use Fat Albert for their logistics, carrying spare parts and personnel between shows.
They can carry so much equipment. It's over 100,000 pounds worth of equipment. It can take off in runways as short as 2,500 feet, land in about 1,500 feet. Now that all the show load is off of it, they'll put on an excellent demonstration.
So look around this weekend. I have a feeling Fat Albert won't be too hard to spot.
And that is true. When you walk through the front gates of the air show, when you see Fat Albert, you're going to know the Blue Angels are back, and wow, what a show they'll put on. But this is kind of the war horse, so to speak, the working man behind the Blue Angels, because in this thing are a lot of essential parts for them to go up there and perform.
When you get up here close like we are right now, you realize just how big it is. The propeller, I think this is like 2 of the size of Hillary.
I know, I had to tell you to duck and not hit your head at that when we started walking over. But it is pretty cool. And, when you hear Fat Albert, you don't necessarily think of the plane at first.
No, I mean, it was named back from the 1970s cartoon series featuring Fat Albert. Now, I could go ahead and do it for you, the hey thing, but there's a guy that does it way better than me, and that's Chris Mulcahy.
This guy?
Hey, it's me, Fat Albert.
Yeah, thank you for giving me that opportunity. I don't get to do it enough.
He's the iconic voice we've all been listening to at the show. His name is Rob Ryder, and he's been announcing at air shows all over the country for the past 30 years. Lucky for us, he lives just down the road in Loveland. So we're going to send it back out now to the tarmac to Mike and Megan, show you a behind-the-scenes look at Rob's man cave and the incredible memorabilia he's collected over the years. Good morning again, guys.
Good morning to you, Jackie. Yeah, he serves a very important role out here. And welcome back to the Dayton International Airport, scene of the Vectren Dayton Air Show this weekend. We're out here. We have the privilege of being out here presenting this preview show for you.
Oh my goodness, and let me just tell you, that sun is brutal. If you come on out, bring your sunscreen, maybe one of those umbrellas to hold in your hand or even attached to your head, those hat umbrellas. It is so hot. And when you come out and enjoy the show, you're going to notice a voice.
Yeah, very familiar voice. You might have recognized his voice over the years. He is announcer Rob Ryder.
That's right. He's been narrating for over 3 decades, and I was lucky enough to get an inside tour of his man cave. Take a look.
So, Megan, here's the place.
When you step inside the basement of Rob Ryder's home, you'll notice it's both a place he works and a place where he displays his love of aviation.
This is the first kind of a protective helmet that the Air Force ever used. Before that, it was leather or cloth.
Rob's knowledge of flying history is incredible. This will be his 28th year with the Dayton Air Show. Back in the day, he was a young man who was on the Rob Braun Show out of Cincinnati. One day, he started hanging out in the announcer's booth.
A guy named Bill Bordelot, who for years was the dean of all the announcers in the air show business, started giving me a little mic time, and then one day he said, I got to go to the FAA briefing, do these manufacturers' demos. Walked away and left me there.
The rest, as they say, was history. Rob has a long resume. He's announced at hundreds of air shows around the world, averaging about 22 a year.
I want you to be ready to be entertained, and I want you to enjoy the best day of your life.
This area here carries tons of memories, because I can go to a lot of these coins and tell you right where I got it and who I got it from.
In addition to everything you see here, Rob also has about 15 flight suits hanging in his closet. On Sunday, when you see him, he'll be wearing this one in honor of the Blue Angels.
Some of my closest friends are the Blue Angels. They made me an honorary a few years back in 2010, and in the 67-year history of the team, there are only 48. And I was number 46, and the 48th with President George H.W. Bush, Bush 41.
Rob says the Dayton Air Show is special. It's his home show, and this weekend when you join him, he'll make sure you walk away thinking it's the coolest thing you've ever seen.
So Rob is just one of the moving parts that makes this air show work. In fact, there are 2,000 volunteers. Joining me live is one of the longtime volunteers, Mike Haverland. They call him Mikey Mike for short, you said?
Yeah, Mikey Mike on the radio. It's easier to say. It's great to be with you.
Oh, and thanks so much for coming out. I guess I really don't have to thank you because you volunteer your time every year. How long have you been doing it, and why do you keep at it?
Wow, 21 years. 21 years and counting, 21 great years. And you know, I'm just really happy to be one of the 2,000 volunteers to come out here every year and put on a world-class air show. And the reason we do it is because we love air shows. We love aviation. We love Dayton's aviation history with the Wright brothers, and this is such a great way to represent that here in Dayton.
And what do you do when you volunteer? What have you done in the past?
Well, I tell you what, I am literally the closest human being to the flying acts every year. I work out at Show Center with Rob Ryder, who you had a great time with yesterday interviewing him. He's one of our 2 air show announcers. The other is Danny Clisham, both top of the line air show announcers, probably the best in the business, and I work with them. I produce the on-air entertainment, if you will. There's a show in the air, and then there's a show that goes out over the PA system, the narration, the announcement. We have commercials, but our job is to entertain and inform the public, the spectating public.
And that's a big part of it. When talking with Rob, he's talked about how it's his job to really keep the flow in terms of letting folks know what the acts are and really pointing things out that you might see. What is the coolest thing that you've seen in all your years of volunteering?
Oh my gosh! I tell you what, I'd say in 2003, which was the centennial of powered flight, the air show was international. We had acts from Canada, France, England, Brazil. To see all of those countries come together to celebrate Dayton's aviation history was spectacular. So that kind of was the highlight. But every year it's something new, it's something different, and just a great time.
And this year, of course, the Blue Angels are going to be back, so that is something you'll definitely want to come and check out this weekend when you come to the Dayton Vectren Air Show. We have a lot more coming up, but for now we need to send it back into the studio, and thanks to Mikey Mike for joining us.
And let's send it back out to Mike and Megan. They've got some details on your parking options for the show.
That's right, Hillary. Speaking of traffic and parking, it'll be a really busy time around the Dayton Air Show, especially between the hours of 9 and say 6 o'clock when people are coming and going. And there are definitely parking options that you need to keep in mind.
Yeah, the great thing is this area is so huge out here that there are plenty areas to park out at the airport. If you are parking on site, it'll cost you just $10 per car and $20 for RVs, buses, and other large vehicles. There's also specially marked parking for those RVs, motorhomes, and motorcycles too. Now, those parking attendants will help guide you there, but you've got to be out here an hour after you've got to be out of here an hour after the show ends. There is no overnight parking.
But you know what? There's a park and ride option, so that's pretty cool. It's put on by the RTA. It'll cost $3 per round trip, and there's an hourly shuttle from Wright Stop Plaza in downtown to the show's main gate up here in Vandalia. That shuttle runs from 8 a.m. until 6 p.m. And as we're trying to read this full screen, it's pretty awesome because we're a bit distracted. The aerobatics performance jets just took off behind us.
Yeah, something just buzzed us. I think it was pretty close. Like, the guy Maverick did in Top Gun. He got in trouble for that.
Yeah.
So I'm going to find that pilot here that did that.
Actually, over there's 4 planes flying. If you're up in Vandalia, you're going to see a lot of action above you in the skies.
But as far as the crowds and parking go, even if it's crowded and they get a great crowd out here, it's so vast. The area is so wide open. There's a lot of elbow space. So there's no worries there.
No worries, but there is concern about the bright sunlight because let me just tell you, it is brutal right now, this sunshine. So make sure to bring sunscreen, a hat, umbrella, those type of things. We'll send it back into the studio.
The air show always has some great acts. This year, you'll get to see a jump team from the Air Force Academy. Rhonda Moore is live at the airport this morning with one of the cadets who actually has Miami Valley roots. Hi, Rhonda.
Good morning. That's right. Cameron Potts graduated from Carroll High School back in 2001, and now he's going to be one of the jumpers with Wings of Blue. All right. Good morning. How does it feel to be back home?
Good. It's great to be back. Really excited to see the family and friends.
All right. So tell me, first of all, what you guys are going to be doing at the air show.
So we have 2 shows each day. We'll be jumping in some flags in the morning. Bringing in the American flag to open up, and then later in the day we're also going to do a low show and a high show where we're going to be doing a sky formation involving smoke.
Okay, so we have some video of what you guys do. How long have you been with the team?
I've been with the team for 2 years now.
All right, and what made you decide that this is something that you wanted to do?
During basic they jumped into one of our events and I thought it was just awesome, so decided to join the team after my freshman year.
Can you say that when you were growing up here, you liked to come to the air show and also the Air Force Museum?
Yes, ma'am. A pretty big part of my life. My grandparents and my dad would always take us.
And so is that something that kind of made you kind of geared toward this?
Yeah, it was definitely a heavy influence.
All right, so just talk a little bit about why you like jumping out of planes.
I like jumping out of planes, one, because it's fun, but really, best part about it is just being with friends. Probably the best part about the team.
All right, and so quickly tell the people here in Miami Valley why they should come out and see you over the weekend.
Come out and see us. We're going to put on a great show. There's some other great acts out here like Blue Angels and Sean Tucker.
All right, sounds good. Thank you. Now, if you would like to see Cameron and the other members of Wings of Blue perform at the air show, it is Saturday and Sunday, and the flying acts perform from noon until 4:05 both days. Make sure you come out, check out the hometown hero here. Back to you guys.
Dayton Air Show this weekend. It's been a privilege and honor to be out here doing this show at a preview and one of the greatest shows. They're expecting a great time out here this weekend.
Oh, yeah, the 40th year for the Dayton Vectren Air Show. The Blue Angels are back this year. Rhonda Moore was out talking to a lot of pilots. You talked to some really cool pilots, the Harrier jet pilot over there.
Oh, I did, and they do some great work, and they're a lot of fun. Yeah.
So come on out to the air show. It opens 9 a.m. That's when the gates open, but the main show is from about 12 to 4 Saturday and Sunday.
So much out here for the family, and not only in the air, but they have planes on display on the ground. Things for the kids as well. Plans are in place to keep you cool, get you parked, get you in here, get you out. It's well organized, so come on out and have some fun.
That's definitely right. And the Blue Angels highlight the event for sure. So they're hoping for a big crowd. Bring your sunscreen, bring your hat, bring your maybe hat with an umbrella attached to it.
Sunglasses. Yeah.
Anything to keep you safe when you're out here, and then also enjoy the show. So from Rhonda, Mike, and I will send it back into the studio.
Oh, what a good time this morning, huh?
No, seriously.
Great acts up there. The Blue Angels, I saw them the first year I was here, which is in 2010. Of course, that was before all the sequestration. Look at that. Such a great time. They always close the show, which is, it's worth the wait.
Good closure right
And
there.
Sean Tucker. Oh,
And I'm
he's
excited for
amazing.
everyone to see Fat Albert, because when you're actually standing there with that huge aircraft,